Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 3 of the BetRivers TableTalk Podcast presented by PokerNews. I am Chad Holloway, joined by Keith Becker to have a lot of fun because we got a great guest this episode, Keith. We're going to talk to Dr. Dad, Dan Schill. We've hinted at it since episode 1, and we finally got him to come on.
Yeah, one of my favorite people in the world. I love hanging out with Dan, and we had a great conversation. So.
We're going to get to an interview with him here shortly. He won 3 titles at the recent BetRivers Spring Championship. We're going to recap that as well. We're going to talk about Keith's adventures with Phil Hellmuth, his adventures there playing on the East Coast. We're going to talk about current promotions like the Rakeback Revolution and a new Phil Hellmuth and Phil Galfond related promotion coming up here in April, and then a pretty kind of heartwarming, feel-good story that took place involving BetRivers and Phil Hellmuth. But let's start with you, Keith. You've been a very busy man. You've been all over the place. You've been working with Phil Hellmuth. Give us the lowdown on what you've been up to.
So this year playing and streaming a lot on BetRivers, streamed a whole bunch of the BetRivers Spring Championship, and then went and produced streams for Phil, played in a cash game with Phil, came home and streamed the rest of the BetRivers Spring Championship. So it was pretty wall to wall for that period, but pretty awesome, amazing series. Phil's a legend, and getting to help him produce content and play at the same table as him is awesome. And honestly, it's been a whirlwind, but in the best way.
Yeah, so to give us some details on like what was the streaming with Hellmuth for, and where was it? Like what all went into it? What did you do there?
So it was part of the BetRivers Spring Championship. We were at a really nice Airbnb in Philadelphia. So I go and I set up all of the equipment for Phil. You know, Phil is an amazing poker player and has a really great poker mind, but he's not a streamer. He's not a tech nerd. So I said I do all that stuff for him and just basically establish it so that he can be the legend that he is in front of the camera. And as part of BetRivers Spring Championship, he and his sons were playing. He streamed some. His sons took over and streamed some as well. And he played a tournament where he gave away T-shirts. So it was a $1 tournament, I believe. And he just sought to bust as many bullets as possible. I think PokerNews wrote an article where he VPIP'd close to 100%, if not 100%, after a certain point. So, yeah, fun to watch.
Well, I'm trying to give chips away, right, guys? Ooh, all right. We're going to give somebody a chance to win some chips. Okay, I hope you guys are tracking. I let someone else win a T-shirt. Okay, I've gone for the just shove all in now. 9-3 offsuit. 96%. You win a T-shirt, 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 you win a T-shirt. I was thinking I played that one really well. Deuce 8. Oh my god. I'm trying to give away shirts, but it's not working. I usually hate losing chips, but in this case, I'm like, okay, that's just a cost of playing every hand. No way. Just switch strategies? No.
Yeah, sounds like a good time. Phil is, I guess you're getting to know him a little bit. Behind the scenes a little, which I have as well over the years. And people always ask me, is Phil really like what you see on TV? And I say yes. Like it's not an act. He is that passionate about it, but he's not that much of a. I don't know. He's not as standoffish or abrasive or the poker brat in real life, if you will.
No, he's not abrasive. He is very strong-willed and has a strong vision for things that he wants to accomplish and things like that, right? And I think sometimes that can come off as off-putting because he just He knows good content. He's produced good content. He's been doing this for a long time, and he will tell you when he thinks something is right and needs to be a certain way, and he won't pull punches about it. And once you sort of acclimate yourself to that, I think Phil he's very gregarious. He will snap call if you say, hey, can you like take, I asked him at one point to take a selfie video for a friend of mine whose birthday was coming up. No problem. People walk up to him and ask for things like that, and he turns it on immediately. He's very generous in that way. And honestly, he's very nice off the felt, but he is very strong-willed, and he is very, the poker competitiveness is very, very real. He will get very competitive, even about $5, $10, $20 tournaments on BetRivers, even though obviously the money I think I talked about this before, obviously the money not consequential to Phil, but he cares and he wants to win.
100%. I played a home game with him here in Wisconsin. Low stakes by certainly his standards, but most people's standards. And same thing. He just wanted to win. He's that passionate about it. Mm-hmm. I know he's also passionate about this show. He is very well aware of it. He helps us share it. I've talked to him about it, and he will be a guest on this show in a coming episode. Not quite sure when, but nice. We're definitely going to have Hellmuth here. You mentioned Delaware Park. This whole BetRivers activation thing was kind of a multi-day online. We talked about the streaming, but there was a live event at Delaware Park as well.
Yeah, so there were two streaming nights, and in between on a Friday night, we went to Delaware Park, and Phil and his sons were both there, and there was like a featured table where Phil spent some time, and then he floated around the room playing with players throughout the room as well, playing cash. Yeah,
if you ever seen Hellmuth, most people just know him from the cameras, and that is one version of Phil. But if you ever see him in an ambassador role, he does a really good job. That's why people ask him to MC charity events all the time too. He's a great MC, great ambassador. You mentioned a lot of the people there. DrDadPoker was there.
Hey everybody, my name is Dan Schill. I play on BetRivers as DrDadPoker, proud member of the BetRivers Stream Team. I mostly play No Limit Hold'em tournaments, and I am from Whitmore Lake, Michigan. So I've been playing on BetRivers since they launched in Michigan, and what really draws me in is all the promos that they run. They do a great job in giving back to the players. Breakback Revolution is amazing, and it's just a great place to play. I mostly play tournaments. I play a variety of buy-in range. I play the highest buy-ins typically offered up to $200 of the daily schedules, and I play all the way down to the $5 tournaments. I like to get in the mix and play as much as I can. My most memorable BetRivers poker moment has to be taking down the silver leaderboard during one of the series that BetRivers was running. It's a coveted trophy to have, and I really like the grind for a leaderboard, and was happy to take that one down. Playing with Hellmuth is great. I've been fortunate enough to play with him a couple times. We played on No Gamble, No Future, and mixing it up with him in the 2-5 streets here at Delaware Park has been an awesome experience. Having a lot of fun.
And I also understand that there was somebody else there, which this was the kind of the feel-good story that I hinted at a little bit earlier. I believe she was known by Lily Poker, and her real name might be Leah.
Her name is Leah, yes. Yeah. So I played at the table with Leah. So there was like this featured table, which was, I think half of the table was cash game regulars who had won a seat there, and the other half was like, it was myself, Dr. Dad, high volume cash reg on BetRivers. Leah, who was just has this beautiful story, and so it was sort of invites from BetRivers. And so Leah's story is really sad and tragic, but also beautiful. So her father, coming up, taught her poker and introduced her to the game of poker, and it became this love of her life. But her father, unfortunately, passed away. He died at the poker table, like at a live poker table, had a stroke at the poker table. And she is very open about this. She's very charismatic. She's just a delight to share the table with. She's very bubbly and nice and open about this story. And she shared with me that she has a specific hand that is like her favorite hand to play, which is 10-7. And the reason she loves playing 10-7 is because she went to her first tournament after her dad died. She was sat at seat 7 at table 10, ended up winning the whole tournament for $7,010. And she's someone who, you know, sees this sort of like magic of the universe, these things lining up. And so now she's always playing 10-7. So if you're at the table with Leah and the flop is 10-10-7, look out.
My name is Leah. I am from Pennsylvania, and my username is Leah. I've been playing poker for about 20 years now. My dad taught me when I was 17 years old, and I've been playing ever since. I've been playing since it started, and I love the fact that it doesn't use your real username, so you never know who you're playing against, and I love that it does that. I typically play the tournaments, normally like the $20 to $50 to $100 buy-ins, and then I also play the normally like $50 to $100 NL. The time that I got to play with Phil Hellmuth, we were at the table together, and I hit a set of sixes on him, and he bet, and I raised and folded, and I was excited about that. So my dad died at the poker table about 13 years ago. He had a stroke, and his favorite player was Phil. And he always would play with him, but never got the chance. So I got the chance to play with him on BetRivers, and I was really excited about it and shared it with BetRivers. And I was having a really, really bad day one day, and in the mail came the T-shirt, and it said, "My dad's wish fulfilled." I got to play with Phil Hellmuth at the table, and I just cried. It was that amazing, and I've never seen a poker site go out of their way like BetRivers does.
Yeah, I first heard about this story in advance of the Delaware Park event, and you know, how her father, his favorite player, was Phil Hellmuth, and that she had interacted with him on a stream. But now BetRivers invited her to meet him live, and Phil, of course, does a great job and spent some time with her. She got a T-shirt and such, and I don't know, just a good story, right? Like, poker is a game at the end of the day, but it means so much more to people for so many different reasons. And, you know, like, very sad, of course, to hear about her dad. I will say, like, and I've said this before, and I think there's probably a lot of people who feel the same way. Like, man, someday if I go, I kind of hope I go at a poker table. Yeah. Because I want to be doing what I love.
Put it that way. It's not the worst way to envision it, right? Yeah, you know, I think Leah was just over the moon even to just be able to play online at the same table as Phil, with them having Phil on the site and doing these streams and promos and such. And for BetRivers to go above that and invite her to play in person with Phil at the table and meet him and do these special things is just really cool to see.
Well, we will have to feature more of Phil Hellmuth in these live events as they happen. I'm sure there won't be too long before there's another, but there is an online event that we need to recap, the 2026 BetRivers Spring Championship, which exceeded expectations. They awarded over $655,000 against, I think there was $515,000 in guarantees. So crushed the guarantees, nearly 20,000 total entries. Keith, I know you were grinding it. You saw the strong participation in both the low and buy-in events.
Yeah, people really showed out. They did a really good job having like lots of promotions. Obviously, not only the Phil Hellmuth streams along the way here, but they had a deposit bonus going. Obviously, the leaderboards going, and I believe before the Spring Championship, they had a Road to Spring Championship where you would earn entries into satellites. So sort of just funneling players into satellites into the series, which all of that really helped to knock it out of the park for this series.
The $200 bigger buy-in main event and then the $50 lower buy-in main event both set records for entries and prize pool, with the former, the bigger buy-in, $40,000 prize pool for the first time, which was just incredible. Big numbers. Everybody was really happy. There was a leaderboard, of course, for both the bigger buy-ins, the gold tier and the silver tier. The gold winner was Whitesmith, just edging out our guest this week, DrDadPoker, Dan Schill. Asher Fly was the winner on the silver side. And I got to tell you, I was a little surprised that Dr. Dad didn't get it, because he became a 3-time winner, the only 3-time winner of the series, took down 3 tournaments in 2 days, back-to-back in 2 of them, and ended up finishing second on the gold leaderboard.
Yeah, honestly, surprised he didn't win it as well. Goes to show how, White Smith is a player who I've hung out with in person and done streams with, and he's a very good player. It goes to show how consistent his performance was as well. But yeah, Dan obviously did amazing this series.
We will get to that interview in just a moment, but before we do, in other BetRivers Spring Championship news was you, Keith, won a title as well.
Do it. Do it. Give me the trophy. Come on, hold the jacks. Hold the jacks. Yes, I'm the BetRivers Spring Championship trophy winner. Yes. Finally. Trophy at the freaking wire, dude. Holy. Literally the last event. It took me till the very last one. Holy crap. Holy crap, we did it. Holy crap. I did win a title. I had a very different story from Dan this series in that I had the classic sort of poker story along this series where, so as an ambassador, I play everything, right? Because I like to showcase everything that's going on. I like the leaderboard hunt, so I play everything from like $5 to $200. If it's below my typical ABI or above my typical ABI, it doesn't really matter in a series. I'm firing it. And I had the classic story where I felt like I was invincible in like $10 and below, and then could not win a flip to save my life at 50 plus. But I had a literal series saver, the literal last event, the $100 series saver. I shipped it. And saved the series. So it was fun because especially as a streamer, the series often fizzles out, right? Your last tournament's like, well, that's over. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, you might have had a win earlier. So to win the last one is just this really triumphant climax that felt great.
It is interesting. It has to be a good feeling. I haven't experienced it. I kind of had the flip side of it, if you will. Yeah. When in 2013, when I won, my bracelet was event number 1 of that.
Oh yeah.
So like I wasn't playing a bunch of events by any means, but like when I won it right at the start of the summer, it was like, well, I can't have a bad summer, no matter what happens.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Yeah, you're sort of immune to a bad summer at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, but then if you're having like a bad summer or a bad series, and you got to go through all that pain, and then you get the reward at the end. That's got to be, like I said, I haven't experienced it. You did. It's got to be a special feeling.
Yeah, I mean, you get to the point, it happens to everybody. We all try to be, robots, emotionless at times and not let things get to you. But when you're running bad, as much as I love streaming and poker and I will always be going live and I'll always be happy to do so, there is a little bit more of a reluctance where I'm like, here I go again to get my butt kicked. And to have it turn around at the 11th hour just felt, like I said, it felt great.
Well, I know it felt great for Dr. Dad. As I mentioned, he won 3 trophies during the BetRivers Spring Championship, and he was kind enough to take some time out of his busy schedule to chat with us. Check it out. All right, we are with our guest this week, somebody I'm very excited to talk to. I know, Keith, you're very familiar with him. One, Dan Schill, a.k.a. Dr. Dad. Dan, I just saw you in Milwaukee, I guess about a month ago now, but excited to have you here on the Table Talk BetRivers podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Pleasure to chat with you guys.
It's going to be a good one. You guys just got done playing the BetRivers Spring Championship. Keith, you had a title as we talked about, but Dan, Dr. Dad, you've got 3 from that series. What a run for you.
Yeah, it was a great series. Series can sometimes be challenging, so it's always good to have a positive one. And my kid is always excited about the physical hardware, the actual trophies. So it's really awesome that BetRivers does that.
I got to ask you. So let's start with you. Who are you? For those that don't know you, that might not follow your streams, give our audience a little bit of an introduction to yourself.
Yeah. So my name is Dan Schill. Go by DrDadPoker because I have a PhD in cell and developmental biology, and I have an awesome 6-year-old named Jake. I used to be a scientist, but I've now switched to poker and content full time, and have been working with BetRivers since they launched in Michigan. Really just been grinding regulated online sites here in Michigan since launch, and have made poker my job and really been enjoying it.
it's funny because I was going to ask, and I might have knew this somewhere along the line, but if I did, I forgot. Like, if you were a real doctor, because most people
Yeah, it's
in
the
poker,
classical sense of a doctorate, right? Versus he's not answering the "Is there a doctor in the house on the plane" to give someone a
not a
procedure.
medical doctor. I was just the nerd in a lab, doing science experiments. But it was awesome. I liked science. I like poker a little bit more. So switch to this.
So you and Keith are, both in the streaming streets. You both stream on BetRivers. Keith, let me ask you, like, what is it that that Dan does that is appealing or special or whatever you might call it when it comes to streaming? What do you, as another streamer, think that his particular flavor is?
Yeah, I think so. Dan and I met through content, and we became fast friends. I think he's just very relatable and very sort of like chill. He wears his sort of heart on his sleeve, whether it comes to excitement or if he takes a beat on the table, he's gonna let you know that he's a little mad about it. And I think that comes off as very relatable. But yeah, we became fast friends. We have even shared Airbnbs in Vegas and now in Philadelphia on a recent trip. So I can understand why people enjoy hanging out with Dan, because I enjoy hanging out with Dan. And it doesn't hurt that he has been crushing the game since he joined the team on BetRivers. We have kept it competitive. I'm trying to keep up with him most of the time, especially with this series. 3 trophies is pretty nuts. Great performance.
Yeah, well, Dan, talk a little bit about that run and what it was like to capture 3 titles during the Spring Championship and be streaming that and you actually finished second too on the gold tier leaderboard, which is kind of crazy by I think like 11 points.
Yeah, so it was an awesome experience overall. I do love a good leaderboard chase. Shout out to Whitesmith for taking the gold leaderboard down. Keith and I have actually done a stream with Whitesmith, great guy, and happy for him to take down the trophy, even though I was hunting for the leaderboard. I like what they did with the leaderboard this time of it being just your top 5 scores because it allows everybody to have a chance. I usually have a good shot at the leaderboards because I'm a volume guy. I play pretty much all the events. So it's cool to switch up how the scoring is done for that. In terms of taking down the events, it was awesome to win all gold events. Sometimes results of the series can be dependent on how you're performing in your higher buy-ins. So being able to take down all gold events was awesome. The taking down the first trophy of the series was it was a $200 event. It was a big adrenaline dump afterwards. I got some good clips out of it. So that's always fun for the content side of things. And then the day where I took down trophies 2 and 3, both gold events in the same day, it was just one of those pure days of poker where whenever the chips went in, I just was confident I was going to win. It didn't matter
Watching
if I had
back
the best
that
hand or
VOD
the
was
worst
crazy,
hand.
man.
I was just
there were
gonna
hands,
win.
and I was like, "What? He just can't lose."
It was insane.
So good.
I won the final trophy with a straight flush. It was just a perfect cap to the day, and just again, one of those days of poker where you can't seem to do anything wrong. So you got to acknowledge when you run good as well. And I've definitely been running good to start the year.
Events number 28, 30, and 31. So it wasn't like back to back to back, but it was pretty damn close.
Yeah.
So Dan, we know you from obviously streaming, playing on BetRivers, playing a lot online, but you've also been mixing it up in the live streets. Keith mentioned you guys have shared a Airbnb during the WSOP. I saw you at the MSPT on this side of Lake Michigan over here in Wisconsin. And I know there's some big events that take place there in Michigan as well. Are you trying to, replicate the online success to the live streets?
Yeah, I love to play live when I get the opportunity. I mostly just travel regionally. I'm a big fan of MSPT and, play now when they're in Milwaukee at Potawatomi, play some in Northwest Indiana, and I have some family, my wife's family that down there. And yeah, I'm always playing when they're here in Michigan. It's a really big stop. It's really fun to, meet some of the people that I play with online in a live setting. And I usually go out to the World Series for a period of time, usually around 10 days. I don't want to be away from my wife and son for too long, but it's nice to, get in the live streets and mix it up. And Poker News tie-in, I did have a nice little run at the last World Series, final tabling the Poker News Deep Stack. So always good to make a run in a live tournament. It's definitely different, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Keith, did you say you guys were just both in Philadelphia?
Yeah, we went to Philadelphia, spent some time with Phil Hellmuth. I produced some more streams for him, and we went to Delaware Park and played. We both played cash with Phil as well.
Yeah, what was that like for you? Well, to play with him, Dan, but also like you were in the BetRivers family, so to speak, which does have Phil Hellmuth, does have Keith here, of course, and Phil Galfond, amongst others. Like, what's that like to be part of the BetRivers family with those kind of people?
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Really, big thank you to BetRivers for bringing me out there for that event. It's my second opportunity to play with Phil, so I was able to play with Phil on No Gamble, No Future previously, and had some fun banter with him related to that. And it was awesome to play with him in this type of setting. He does a great job at these events, and really gives time to everybody. And it was really great to meet some of the other players from online that BetRivers invited and hear more about their stories. And it was also fun to play with some of the Delaware Park regulars. So, I'm a tournament player, but getting in the live cash streets is, where I'm a little more uncomfortable was fun. Tried to, play quite a few hands, and I ran really well in that session as well. So, a lot of fun overall. Great experience. Thank you to BetRivers. And yeah, being a part of the team, it's great. As Keith mentioned, we became fast friends, and it's been great working together with Keith and the stream team. And, obviously the Phils are, titans of the industry in terms of ambassadors in the game. And I've had, several opportunities to interact with Phil Hellmuth, but I look forward to the opportunity to interact with Phil Galfond some more as well. And just really enjoy everything that Rivers is doing.
I think you guys tell me what you think about this idea, right? So No Gamble, No Future, getting to play on that is pretty cool. I've been doing a lot of watching and recaps of Hellmuth's home game, which of course is sponsored by BetRivers. I was in Reno recently for a Run Good Poker Series and went over to the Grand Sierra Resort because I got to know where Hellmuth's home game takes place. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be a BetRivers related Hellmuth's home game, and maybe the three of us go up there and play. Galfond will go up there, Hellmuth. I mean, we all know Phil. I know him pretty well from our Wisconsin ties. I don't know. It sounds like it could be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm down.
Count
for
me in. Yeah, I've expressed interest in playing in that game. I think sometimes it plays a little big, but if you get an opportunity to do something like that, you got to take it. And I am in. Sign me up, BetRivers.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. Like, it plays pretty big. It started reasonable, as I would say. I think it was a 25-50, but with like a 5K buy-in. But then you had Texas Mike on there, just going in basically dark and getting in for over 100K. Like, right. Yeah, that's not going to be me. Yeah. But it could be a lot of fun to do one that is like the 5K buy-in. I did play with Hellmuth back in the day. Funny enough, it was in Philadelphia. It was on Poker Night in America, which is associated with Hellmuth's home game. And
right.
That was me taking a shot, and I was playing with, Sean Deeb was in that game, and it was a big shot for me. And luckily, like you ran in the spring championship, Dan, I ran in those 2 days of, at least one day of filming. Yeah. So
nice.
There you go.
What's next for you, Dan? More streaming. I mean, I think when I think BetRivers, obviously I think Keith. That's why I asked him on to be a co-host on this podcast. We knew we wanted you from episode 1, where Phil Galfond was our guest. So I'm excited to have you on this one. But what's the future looking like for you here? Not only with BetRivers, obviously I want to know more about your plans there. But the World Series is right around the corner. I know the MSPT is coming over there to Michigan. What's on your agenda?
Yeah, a lot of that. So happy to be continuing my relationship with BetRivers as a member of the stream team for the foreseeable future. So going to be, making content, playing online tournaments, and, helping promote the site. And doing some live stops. I'll definitely be playing MSPT when it's here in Michigan. And I need to talk with some of my friends. As Keith mentioned, we usually like to try and get an Airbnb with a group of us. If possible, so try and coordinate schedules for the World Series. I usually like to go out towards the end, when everybody's a little withered, it can come in fresh. And so most likely around the main event is when I'll be out there. And just going to take any other opportunities to, go play live or things, if stuff comes up for BetRivers. Another MSPT stop that I'm pretty excited about that was recently announced is going to be at Rivers in Chicago. So I think, there could, be a big turnout for that one, because there's, definitely demand even in the Michigan market when it's kind of a tough place to get to. So I think Chicago, I think that's going to be a really big stop. Just really looking forward to once New Jersey eventually joins with BetRivers. Increased liquidity will be good for guarantees, and I think the BetRivers is doing all the right things of listening to the players and offering a lot of great promotions, and I'm excited to see what the future brings.
I'm glad you mentioned it because I was going to the Rivers Casino in Chicago August 4th through the 9th, still pending some regulatory approval, but if all goes according to plan, which it should, $1 million guarantee. Keith, that might be one we got to get you out here. Dan and I's neck of the wood.
I'd love to get out in your neighborhood. It feels like a lot of times people end up out over here in the Northeast, but I'll take a trip for sure.
You got to come play with the barbecue dads, Keith.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time I hear your screen name, Dan, Dr. Dad, it reminds me of Daniel Negreanu's 25K fantasy draft. There is a team, Girl Dads is the name of their team, and it's Ryan Reese, Jesse Lonis, et cetera, et cetera. So
you're not could join now. You just had a little girl.
We should. I like the sound of a team BetRivers on that 25K fantasy draft. I know that none of us are going to put up 25K, but maybe we each sell, put up a little bit, sell some action.
Ways maybe we could start the conversation.
I mean,
I do always sweat the fantasy. I think that's a really cool aspect of the community does, if they're I know some teams do staking on some sites to be able to fund that. I would definitely be interested in being involved and would do some of the draft prep and stuff for sure.
Yeah, I might have to look into that because I've been involved tangentially with the 25K fantasy draft for a while, but have never been involved with a team. So that could be fun. One thing we can do, though, I think would be a lot of fun, whether it is at an MSPT, maybe the one at Rivers in Chicago, but when the three of us are together, we should find a way. One fun thing that the guys did, Ryan Steiner and Stephen Jones, who of course was on Squid Game, the challenge, and finished runner-up in the main event. They played the MSPT at Talking Stick down in Arizona, and they had a fun fantasy competition where they basically each drafted themselves and then 5 other people. It was Team Steiner versus Team Jones, and it was whoever amassed the most amount of money, right? And it essentially is it'll last longer. But anyways, that could be something fun for, I don't know, us three, the two of you, whatever it might be. I think that could be a fun little BetRivers hook sometime.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, count me in. I know a lot of the MSPT regulars, so
I was gonna say I'll need to do some sleuthing and ask some of Dan's friends. To I don't know the Michigan, Wisconsin, Midwest regular poker scene, but I'll do some research.
You mentioned knowing MSPT regulars, obviously I do too. What I don't know as well as probably the two of you is the BetRivers kind of regulars.
Yeah.
You mentioned Whitesmith. To me, that's just a screen name, and maybe that's playing behind a screen name. So don't out Whitesmith if he's not a known name. But Keith, I've talked to you a lot about it, about getting more people, a lot of these players who play on BetRivers on a screen name who might want some more attention, if you will, on here. But to harken back to our guest, Dr. Dad, do you know these players behind the screen names that you're playing with? Do you know the BetRivers regulars is another way of phrasing it?
So it can be a little challenging, with the anonymous aspect of, when you're playing at the tables. But I definitely know, a lot of the online regulars here in Michigan, as well as, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, from, playing a lot of tournaments against all of them. And so, I definitely have connections, particularly here in Michigan. And I definitely have some friends who have had some results that I'm sure would be happy to come on and chat with you and brag about their wins. So I can help put you in touch with some people.
When we went and played in that cash game at Delaware Park, we got to meet perhaps the highest volume cash game regular. He was there playing XN Bomb is his screen name. I believe his name is Tyler. I don't think he would have a problem with me saying that since he came and played there as well. And I don't know if he would join us or not, but he was very friendly and fun to play with at the cash game for sure.
Should definitely check it out, and others should check out your streams. Dr. Dad, can you tell us the best way for them to follow not only your streams, but you, if they want to keep on top of your poker adventures?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Dr. Dad Poker everywhere. I'm most active on Twitch in regards for streams. I do post short form content. Shout out to the great editing team at BetRivers for helping put some of that stuff together. I've been mostly posting that on X and Instagram and Facebook. YouTube has been a little unfriendly to some of the poker content stuff lately, so I do have a YouTube as well, but haven't been posting quite as much there lately. But yeah, Dr. Dad Poker everywhere.
Check it out, and I'm sure it won't be the last time we ask you to come on the show. You know, in fact, if there's ever a time where Keith might have to miss something or I have to miss something, I feel like you would be the shoe-in for sliding in there and being a special fill-in co-host.
Yeah, always happy to come and chat with you guys, or take a pinch hit hosting duties as well. And thank you for having me today. It's been a pleasure, and yeah, I look forward to future conversations.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming on, Dan.
Yep, 100%. Keith and I will be right back. Yeah, Keith and I will be right back to talk more BetRivers and some promotions that are happening. Stay tuned.
I'm Phil Hellmuth, and games, I love them. That's why I'm all in with BetRivers, where there's games within the games. That's right, Phil, like prop packs and rush jackpot. BetRivers has a bunch of no extra cost bonus games to give qualified players more chances to win. It's amazing. Sorry, slept in. BetRivers. Game's on.
All right, we are back to talk about promotions on BetRivers. If you are looking to play, you're going to want to pay close attention because more than likely these are going to apply to you. If you're a new player with just signing up for BetRivers, you can get a welcome offer. New players can access a first deposit bonus of up to $1,000 using code POKER. So if you're signing up new, just use the code POKER and get a first deposit bonus, a welcome offer. But then also, I know it's really popular right now, Keith, is the Rakeback Revolution.
Yeah, so Rakeback Revolution has been extended, and I will say people are very happy about that. It's one of the most common questions I see in Twitch chat and in Discord is asking about whether it would be extended. It's an insane value. If you generate at least $5 in weekly rake, you qualify for the Rakeback, which is very, very generous on BetRivers. You can redeem your rewards in poker bonus, but because casino and sportsbook seem to be a little bit more EV, and I'm an EV hunter, so I will say, like, with full transparency, I redeem my bonuses in casino bonus, and then I play through it in blackjack to maximize my EV. But it scales based on your loyalty tier, and I've not seen a Rakeback program so well received as Rakeback Revolution at BetRivers.
Yeah, and they really forward-thinking, player-friendly, and the Rakeback Revolution is one of those things that's kind of unmatched in the online poker space. And one of the other things I'm a big fan of is the cash game leaderboards. We talked about the Spring Championship leaderboards when it applies to tournaments. Well, if you play cash games, they also have leaderboards that offer over $13,500 in weekly bonuses. So you're playing cash games, you have a chance at these weekly bonuses. There's two different leaderboards. There's the weekly leaderboard, which is Monday through Thursday, and then a weekend leaderboard, Friday through Sunday. Applies to cash game players, provides more frequent opportunities for those players to compete, earn rewards. So I like that they're giving some love and a little extra back to the cash game players as well. Yeah,
I've seen multiple people between the Rakeback Revolution and the cash game leaderboards. I've seen multiple people say that they've moved all of their volume to BetRivers Poker because of it's just again EV hunting essentially. And in addition to that, they have the Splashy Hours promotion. So on the most recent episode, we talked about BetRivers adding Splash the Pot. There's a promotion right now running in two different windows where the splash pot value is bumped up to 4x the normal rate. It's averaging 20% return. So if you play between 4 and 7 p.m. Eastern or between midnight and 3 a.m. Eastern. So you have to adjust that if you're over in Dr. Dad Poker's neck of the woods in Michigan, or in, well, Chad's neck of the woods. But yeah, there's 2 windows where you can get boosted splash pots, which are really exciting when they happen.
Yeah, we showed the one that you had in last month's episode, so check that out. And then coming up in April, there is a special promotion. So I don't know, April 1st is April Fools. Well, it makes sense, April Phils, which is close to Fools, for Phil Hellmuth and Phil Galfond, who will both be participating in this particular promotion, which applies to not only cash games, but also tournaments, sit and goes. So basically, any format you play on BetRivers, the April Phils promotion will apply. This is part of the big promotion of this is collectible prizes, which is, I think, pretty cool. We've talked about like the I knocked out a Phil t-shirt, where they're giving players the opportunity to win more unique memorabilia, like bobbleheads. Like,
yeah, it says, we hope you like bobbleheads here is what I'm reading. I would love a Galfond or Hellmuth bobblehead sitting back on my shelf in the stream room.
I actually would too. I've got 2 poker-related bobbleheads. I got one of David Devilfish Elliott that was made during the poker boom, and then one of Jack Binion that I came across.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
So bobbleheads will be a part of this, as will other collectibles that are exclusive rewards, tied to the performance and participation of everybody in this promotion. Details. We'll have an article up on Poker News. I'll link to it in the show notes. But I don't know. I like the creativity when it comes to the promotions that BetRivers puts on.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, the fact that they really do tend to spread it across all the variants too, something for cash, something for sit and go players, something for MTTs, is something that I'm really happy to always see happening.
Speaking of promotions, and I've teased it in past episodes, I think starting with episode 4, I'll have a conversation with some of the folks over at BetRivers and say, hey, can we get some stuff to give away here on the Table Talk show? And I don't know what yet. I'll have that conversation, but I'm already going to put it out there. Next episode, we're going to do some sort of giveaway, Keith.
All right. There it is. You heard it here.
We'll see if we can get some good prizes. At the very least, I got signed Phil Hellmuth memorabilia that I had him sign when I last saw him in Wisconsin. So could likely give away some of that stuff. And yeah, we'll have to come up with some fun and creative ways to do that with the show here. Keith, we're getting to the end of episode 3 already. It is March 2026. The World Series of Poker is going to be here before we know it. Time is flying. What's coming up for you?
Honestly, just a lot of streaming on BetRivers. I'm happy to keep playing. I want to see what this April Phil's promotion is all about. If there's bobbleheads up for grabs, I'm going to try to win one. And yeah, I've been loving it. I might be singing a different tune if I hadn't won a trophy at the end of last series, but here I am with a trophy on the way, and so I'm going to keep firing and keep grinding away. I've got some travel coming up as well after that, heading to play some live poker, but I'm excited to check out all these promos.
100%. I have some travel coming up that's associated with Poker News. You can learn more about those on the Poker News podcast that I also co-host. But looking forward to coming back next month. As I said, we'll do some giveaways. I don't know who our guests will be quite yet, but Phil Hellmuth will be eventually. I would like to try to grab him either April or May. I feel like May might be a good slot because the
got to
World
try to
Series
get
of
him
Poker is
before
right there.
the World Series, right? I'd imagine would be ideal. Yeah.
And I called it. I honestly think he's going to win bracelet 18 this year. Got that feeling.
All right.
All right, well, that's going to do it for episode 3 of the BetRivers Table Talk podcast presented by Poker News. I am Chad Holloway. Keith Becker, do us a favor, like, subscribe, give us the 5-star review, spread the word. We will be back next month with a brand new episode. Be sure to join us then.
Thanks for watching, everyone.